We have one of my favorite writers of all time reading, I think from the perspective of one of my favorite characters of all time.
Yes.
So it's gonna be great. Y'all are in for a freaking treat tonight. So officially,
Let's not overdo it.
it's alright.
We trust her.
So officially, Josh Harris, a native of Wyoming, moved to Berkeley in 1998 after a 2-year stint as a Peace Corps volunteer in a small Saharan village in Mali, West Africa. Since coming to California, he has attended law school, gotten married, and had 2 sons named Leo and Lex. No big deal.
No biggie.
After practicing public interest environmental law in Oakland for 10 years, he returned to school and is on track to get his Master of Arts in English with an emphasis on creative writing from SFSU in the spring of 2015.
Woo!
Yeah, his hobbies include reading, bike riding, taking his family to the beach, and super gluing household items back together that have been knocked to the ground by the 2 marauding kittens he ridiculously offered to get for his sons after they lost an old cat last winter.
Oh.
Everyone, please put your hands together for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me
Thanks
to
for
be
coming.
here. How's the mic?
Short for you.
Good? Yeah. So I am going to be reading from Cecil. I came up with this character in 1 page at the beginning of a class last semester. 4 of us were in there. We really had a good time in there.
We had a great time.
And we produced some good work. Yeah. So since then I've taken Cecil and I've written him, and he's started to, invade me a little bit, and he's becoming, he's either an alter ego or just a buddy of mine who lives nearby. So some things that you need to know about Cecil is, he's obsessed with his microbiome. And for those of you who don't know, that's the garden of bacteria in your gut and on your skin and your lips and your tongue. Scientists are discovering that they're crucially important for all sorts of different health things. He's gotten his hands on this science and he's taken it to a whole nother level. He needs to get as much bacteria into his system as possible. So his lifestyle is dictated by that. His house he never washes his house. He never cleans anything. He invites the filth into his house and into his life. He doesn't wash himself very frequently. He only does when he really needs some human contact. And that's a sort of sad little part of Cecil. He's a recluse, but he's got a plan. His plan is that he's going to create this amazing garden in his gut, and then he's going to live to be about 150 years old because of this, and have a platform for saving the world. He's going to be able to say, I know what we're doing wrong, we need to live with the other organisms, including the bacteria around us. And so that's his plan, and he's got it all figured out. He just isn't quite there yet. He's still 35, so he doesn't have that. So the plan, the house, there's fermenting food everywhere in the house. I'm just giving you this background because it plays into this little scene. This is about, 50 pages in. So you need a little bit of who Cecil is. Food fermenting everywhere. And the city has held a hearing about condemning his house because it's a health hazard. Obviously, there's rats everywhere. He has a pit latrine. I won't give it all away, but it's gross. I try to move on to that eventually, but there's a lot of disgusting detail about his house in the first 50 or so pages. And then the final detail is he has a social worker named Soledad who comes by every once in a while, and they have an okay rapport. So I think that's all you need to know. The heat wave continues. Every night the local news highlights the records being broken all over the Bay Area. On June 3rd at 6:41 p.m., a blonde newscaster announces that May was the hottest single month in San Francisco since meteorologists started keeping records. The program cuts to clips of people walking on Ocean Beach, playing in a fountain in Golden Gate Park, and eating ice cream in Justin Herman Plaza. I immediately kill the TV and stare at the blank screen, gnashing my teeth. Do they know they're glorifying collective suicide? They should show pictures of dry riverbeds, abandoned farms, and dead salmon. For that matter, they should show pictures of family homes being inundated by rising seas in Bangladesh, and all the thirsty, starving children in sub-Saharan Africa. They should make a pile of corpses, birds, bears, butterflies, tortoises, mountain lions, bighorn sheep, elk, frogs, salamanders, iguanas, whatever they can find to show the viewers the real story. And what about the millions of microbial species threatened with extinction? Does anyone care about them? Ice cream and beaches? Unbelievable. That night, I dream of the 4 horsemen. Every corner of the earth is ablaze. Dead bodies, human and otherwise, are splayed out everywhere. The horsemen descend from the heavens to deliver the final blow. I am there on my steady, green steed, leading an army of slime-covered, shape-shifting soldiers. On my orders, they repel the horsemen with volleys of microbial bombshells and extinguish the earth's flames by vomiting oceans of ooze. Then my soldiers spread out across the planet, become flowered meadows, dark forests, and vast green plains. They spit flocks of bluebirds and shit herds of buffalo. They become lakes and rivers, glaciers and rain clouds. They build small villages to shelter the remaining human beings, and then they decompose into rich blankets of bacteria to protect and nourish us all. And I am exalted as king. At 9:58 a.m., I'm sitting in my kitchen listening to Wagner and reading Heretics of Dune when I hear a knock at the door. I finished working out 27 minutes ago, but I'm still wearing a sweat-soaked Oakland A's t-shirt, a pair of cut-off jeans, and my Converse All-Stars. I figure it must be Soledad, so I quickly kill the music and gather the dogs. I lock them in the basement and tell them to be quiet. They immediately begin to howl when I close the door. Another knock, this time much louder, not her usual style. Open up! My stomach drops. It's not Soledad. Cecil Reitmeister, it's the police. Open up. We know you're in there. We have a warrant requiring you to vacate the premises. I scurry on all fours out of the kitchen and through the dark living room. I pull the curtain back ever so slightly and peek out the front window. 4 cops, including 1 female cop with mirrored aviators, sunglasses, stands in the bright sun on my front steps. The one at the door is barrel-chested, with thick tan arms and a laughably typical Burt Reynolds mustache. Soledad, in a garish pastel muumuu, stands on the sidewalk, looking worried. I retreat to take position behind the couch, between 2 fermenting buckets, 1 cabbage and 1 whole beets. The smell of rot is strong and comforting here. We're not home, I yell. Cecil, Soledad's familiar voice calls through the mail slot. Please let us in, it's for your own good. I'll get you some help, I promise. Help? They want to help me? Talk about irony. Come back tomorrow, I'll open the door then. I hear a minor scuffle behind the front door. Soledad has been quickly demoted. The barrel-chested voice is back. That's not how it's going to work, Mr. Reitmeister. I hate it when people call me Mr. Reitmeister, when they're obviously being condescending instead of respectful. It's like saying yes please when you mean go fuck yourself. The voice continues. You better get it through your head right now. I'm giving the orders around here. We'll see about that. I don't know exactly what I mean, but it sounds good. Open this goddamn door. You can't come in, I won't allow it. I think of the green shapeshifters from my dream and wish they were here to defend my kingdom. This is a delicately balanced ecosystem. I have spent years perfecting it. You antiseptics will throw everything off. You don't understand, no one understands. But you have to trust me. Just leave me alone for a few more years and I'll show you amazing things. I'm going to count to 3, Mr. Reitmeister, and then my men are going to break down this door. Soledad in the distance. Don't do it. He's very sensitive. Just wait a few minutes. He'll come around. We don't have time to wait. Now I hear shuffling feet near the door. And one more thing, Mr. Reitmeister, your social worker tells us that your dogs are probably locked in the basement right now. Don't let them out, or we'll shoot them on sight. I don't care if they have rabies or not. I'm not going to get bit by some filthy mutt today. You understand? I respond with silence. There's nothing in the plan about home invasions from overly aggressive, misguided police thugs. What to do? On the one hand, Gandhi would let them in. He would protest in silence as he let them take everything away, a true martyr. Then his followers would gather around him and they would all hold a hunger strike until the authorities capitulated. But no one would get it if I surrender right now. I don't have any followers. I would just be noted as one of the many Berkeley lunatics, not a hero, not a leader, and definitely not a savior. Not yet. On the other hand, Malcolm X would let the dogs out of the basement and go down fighting. Of course, he would have a whole arsenal of automatic rifles hidden in his bedroom, and I've never even shot a gun. More importantly, I can't risk losing my dogs. This is your last warning, Mr. Reitmeister. 1. But I just can't go down without a fight. This is too important. 2. Symbolic resistance. That's what they'll call it in my biography. I stand up, grab a fermented beet in one hand and a handful of sauerkraut in the other, and ready myself. 3. The door shutters and the jam splinters when the police thrust their battering ram against my front door, but the deadbolt holds fast. For a split second, my dark living room is seductively still and silent, as though nothing is happening outside. Is this unjustified attack on my home actually happening? Or could I just retreat to the kitchen, turn Wagner back on, let the dogs out, and return to my daily routine? The inevitable answer comes in the form of another whack from the battering ram, and this time the door flies open. A fat vat of yogurt next to the door tips over, spilling white all over the living room floor. The first cop in, barrel chest, is blind in the room's utter darkness and immediately slips and falls heavily into the yogurt with a thud and a splat and a loud, anguished grunt. My arms and legs are shaking now as I shift my stance and prepare to repel the next invader. The female cop enters warily, weapon drawn. Barrel chest cries out, "Watch out, Angel!" as I hurl the slimy bead in my hand and connect squarely with her head, knocking her mirrored sunglasses to the floor. She leans against the side of the front doorway, momentarily stunned. I pelt her with sauerkraut, and she falls back outside. I hear Soledad screaming, "Stop it, Cecil! You must cooperate." I grab 2 more beet grenades. Through the open door, I see the 2 remaining cops running around the house to my backyard. Barrel chest is groaning on the floor, covered head to toe in yogurt and flies. The 2 cops at the back of the house have little trouble breaking down the door. I step into the kitchen. Sunlight illuminates the encrusted countertops next to the sink and the soiled linoleum at my feet. I launch my second attack. These guys see my missiles coming and duck, easily evading the flying beets. 1 beet flies out the house into the backyard. 1 smashes into the wall behind the cops, leaving a vibrant purple bloodstain at the point of impact. The guy closest to me, a redhead kid who looks about 15, loses his hat when he ducks and he straightens up. And when he straightens up, he says, "Come on, man, is that all you got?" The other cop, the redhead's overweight graying partner, I assume, yells in a deep baritone, "Tase him, for God's sake." The redhead smiles, points over my shoulder, and winks at me sadistically. Before I can turn, I feel 2 light touches, 1 on my shoulder and 1 on my calf. Instantly, I hear clicking and my muscles seize up into violent balls of fire. I fall to the floor, head smacking linoleum. A pain, sublime in its totality, shoots through my body as an army of invisible claws pinch every muscle, each cell, until I feel I am breaking apart and quickly disintegrating into a mushy, electrocharged blob of oblivion. Are they killing me now, I wonder, without even conducting a trial? Even Jesus got a trial. And what are they doing to my sacred microbiome? Murdering every exquisite being inside of me? And for what? Spite? Jealousy? Mistrust? I try to inch toward the basement door, but the pinching claws are relentless. I should have let the dogs out when I had a chance. We could have all gone down together. I can't move. I'm a stiff board, jittering madly on my kitchen floor. Through vibrating eyeballs, I see black shoes. The gray baritone says, "Nice shot, Angel." give him a few more jolts, and then I pass out. I wake up in the back of the police car, the window cracked, just slightly, like I'm a dog. My hands are bound behind my back, making it impossible to sit comfortably. The car reeks of disinfectant and fake pine, like Mr. Clean and the Brawny Man had recently engaged in some sort of ultra-hygienic sex act back here. I guess because they couldn't kill me, they're going to torture me now. So I vomit my breakfast, bean curd, and peanut butter into the hard plastic seat next to me. The car smells instantly better. Soledad is sitting on my front steps with her head in her hands. Police tape has been drawn around my property. Barrel Chest walks down the driveway carrying my old Dell computer. He has wiped much of the yogurt from his uniform, but streaks of white are still visible near his lapels and on his right pant leg. He walks to the squad car where I'm sitting, pops the trunk, deposits the computer, and climbs in. "Oh my God, you shithead, you had to puke in my car too?" Starts the engine and rolls down the window. "You're under arrest," he says, "assaulting an officer and whatever else we can find on you. And I might mention, I think you're fucking disgusting." As we pull away, Barrel Chest head leaning out the window, I see a hazmat vehicle and the city's animal control van pull up in front of my house. I know that all is lost. They will destroy everything. They will clean, disinfect, sanitize. They will slaughter everything in there. They will wash the last 13 years of my life away with hoses, sprays, and demolding agents. They, all those self-important antiseptics in their white plastic suits and gloves, they are the hazardous materials that need to be addressed, wiped out, remediated. They are the scourge, the blight, the plague, not me, and certainly not my bacteria. We turn on to Calusa and drive past my old elementary school where, for a brief period of time, I was considered normal. We turn on to Solano and I think of my dogs and hope somebody takes good care of them, but I know that they are destined for the pound. They will not do well there. They are too liberated and nocturnal. I begin to moan, and then it turns to a growl. Barrel Chest quickly eyes me in the rear view mirror. I get the sense that he would love nothing more than to take a rubber hose to my already ailing body. They still do that these days, right? And my growl quickly turns to a whimper.